If you've ever felt trapped in an abusive relationship, cornered by a wrong decision, or paralyzed by an unjust situation, you know exactly what this feels like. Instead of stepping up and managing our reality, we let life happen to us. We tolerate the dysfunction, and we accept the noise. We're going to fix that today with a process called the Faith Reset. Before we begin, grab a notebook, grab a pen, and find a quiet space. The objective is straightforward. We are moving you out of the passive state of life happening to you and into an empowered position where you are happening to it. Over the next 5 minutes, we'll walk through a 4-step process to reclaim your spiritual authority through targeted, deliberate prayer. Moving from passive acceptance to active prayer addresses the structural root of the noise, allowing us to reset how we interact with our reality. Step 1 is identifying the noise. We need to locate the specific static in your life that is currently drowning everything else out. Take a look at this model. Imagine you are receiving a clear, steady signal, like watching a crisp HD television. Suddenly, a bad neighbor cuts the cable line. The downstream flow devolves into chaotic static. But instead of getting up to fix the severed line, you just keep staring at the static because you are so used to the routine of watching TV. It sounds absurd, but we do this in our lives every single day. Take your pen and write down one specific, concrete life problem where you are currently just sitting on the couch watching the static. Now that we have the problem isolated on paper, step 2 is accessing the power source required to fix it. We are no longer slaves to our earthly circumstances. We are invited to be co-laborers with Christ, meaning we have an active role to play in shaping our reality. Christ wants to share his authority with us. In Matthew 28:18, we see the clear, foundational evidence. God has given Christ Jesus all authority and power in heaven and on earth. Go back to your notebook. Right next to the problem you wrote down, write this exact phrase: I have the power to alter this. By recognizing the authority granted to you, a life crisis that previously seemed impossible to solve becomes a manageable task. You are simply co-laboring to fix the line. Step 3 requires you to actually get out of your seat. It is time for physical and spiritual action. Just knowing you have the power doesn't reconnect the cable. To restore your faith, you have to physically disrupt the deeply ingrained habit of sitting passively in the noise. You might be thinking, I don't know what's best for me right now. That is a normal feeling, but you don't need perfect clarity to take the first step. Decisive action must come before the picture becomes clear. The physical posture required to break this cycle of apathy is getting on your knees. As Pastor Jack Lee observed, much kneeling will keep you in good standing. This is a posture of intense spiritual endurance. Put the notebook down for a second. Literally stand up, leave the comfortable spot you are in right now, and get on your knees for this next phase. Your physical posture dictates your spiritual readiness. Getting on your knees proves that prayer is a highly active, offensive move to push back against situations, rather than a passive retreat from them. Now that you're in an active posture, step 4 is directing that energy into a highly specific, targeted prayer protocol. The first half is reconnecting. We ask the source for clear direction to bridge the gap. Re-establishing this connection inherently clears the snow, forcing the static away. The second half is rebuking. Establish a definitive boundary against the dysfunction so they cannot disrupt the signal. Now, stand back up, take your pen, and write down your specific, targeted boundary prayer against that exact situation. This dual process, reconnecting to the source and rebuking the interference, creates a definitive reset of your spiritual boundaries, fully restoring your capacity to see things clearly. You have successfully completed the 4 steps of the Faith Reset. You are officially out of the static and back in high definition. These handwritten notes serve as a concrete, active blueprint for maintaining your spiritual authority. Keep that notebook nearby. If the dysfunction attempts to creep back in, you now have a maintenance protocol. You know exactly how to physically shift your posture and hit reset again. Spiritual power comes from possessing the specific tools and authority required to restore your own connection the moment it is disrupted.